Fighter aircraft were among some of the most important planes of the Second World War. Their roles would differ as the war progressed, and much of their designs would vary between the countries involved in the conflict. But when you think of a World War II fighter, I bet you don't think of this. Introducing the Boulton Paul Defiant, the fighter plane with a gun turret. This aircraft would take part in the defence of Britain and continue to fly throughout the war. Perhaps its most interesting feature is the lack of fixed forward-facing guns. In today's video, we look at the Defiant and its use during World War II. If you enjoy this video and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. It's free and really helps the channel reach more history lovers like you. Gun turrets were a fairly new addition to military aviation by the time the Second World War started. Most turrets allowed for a 180-degree arc of fire, but due to their size, most were mounted onto larger aircraft such as heavy bombers. But the British Defiant fighter was an exception to this. Its design originated prior to the war beginning, with the thought that any potential German bombers flying over Britain would not have any fighter escorts. So the Defiant was built to be able to fly underneath or alongside German bombers, and shoot them down with its turret. So because of its reliance on the turret, this fighter was created without any fixed forward-facing weapons. Instead, the only armament on board was within the turret itself, directly behind the cockpit. Inside were 4 7.7mm Browning machine guns. The turret could then be moved around to fire in virtually every direction. This though did actually allow for the turret to maneuver the guns into a position to fire forwards alongside the cockpit. Once in this position, the turret gunner could allow the pilot to control the guns. However, the major flaws in this were the degree of elevation for the guns and the lack of gun sight for the pilot. Additionally, if the turret gunner was engaging the enemy, he wouldn't be in a position to move around to allow the pilot to also fire the weapons. The aircraft had a crew of 2 with a pilot and turret gunner. Unfortunately for the gunner, when in flight if he needed to bail out in an emergency, the turret had to be rotated to the side to allow for the exit hatch to open. Because there was a lack of room inside the gun position, the gunner couldn't wear a parachute and had to stow it alongside himself. Therefore, in the later models, a special parachute, nicknamed a rhino suit, was worn by the gunner. The Defiant fared very well in its intended role. Because of its design, it easily made short work of slow enemy bombers, with its top speed of 300 miles or 480 kilometers an hour. In one day, a squadron of Defiants managed to claim 37 enemy kills, but the issue for the aircraft lay when faced with German fighter escorts. The Bf-109 and Focke-Wulf FW-190s were able to take down the Defiants mostly by frontal attacks, especially if they themselves weren't being assisted by Spitfires or Hurricanes. This caused a shift in thinking, and the turret plane was redesigned as a night fighter. Within its new role and with the aid of radar, it performed well, but as German aircraft began to focus their efforts on the Eastern Front, much of the Defiant's roles were taken up by the well-performing Mosquito. The twin engines of this aircraft allowed for a much better result in the night fighter role. As the war continued, the Defiant would see roles such as air-sea rescue, in which it was fitted with underwing pods to drop dinghies to stranded sailors. It also performed as a target tug and allowed for practice and testing of other planes. By war's end, just over 1,000 variants would be manufactured. However, only one complete example currently exists today. What did you think about the RAF Defiant fighter plane? Had you ever heard of it before? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to expand your knowledge and join the growing Premier History community.